What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski and I'm back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And today I have a brand new guide for you guys today on the brand newly announced fortnight of the Led by Light of Noland Calgara and Noland. So this is actually one of the better fortnights in my opinion. The actual boss unit, Noland, and the hidden boss in Calgara are actually both pretty decent units, and I definitely recommend that you guys should farm this fortnight because the skill books are actually really nice too. This is another one of those fortnights where they're going to be changing the skill books around because we don't have the strong world units yet, so they're changing 2 skill books, and we're getting Whitey Bay books, and we're also getting Little Law's Junior books as well. So before we get into today's video, guys, if you guys do go on to enjoy it, make sure to smack the like button down below. But without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. So here we have the first unit that we're going to have a look at, which is Montblanc Noland of the Leneval Kingdom, and here's a 4-star unit. Here's an int slasher cerebral type unit with a cost of 20, which is nice for Sengoku teams, and he does have 2 socket spots as well. Now his captain effect is not really that useful of boosting the attack and recovery of slashes by 1.5 times, but his special, which starts at 18 turns and maxes at 10 turns, will amplify the effects of orbs by 1.5 times for 2 turns. So basically like a Kaku or a Kobe for like slashes or cerebral, which is actually really cool because now int teams also have a specific orb booster as well. So this unit overall is a really good unit to max out. All of those amplify orb boosters are always really good to max out, as by having multiple different ones you can put them in so many different teams. And this guy in particular, you know, he can be put into 3 or 4 different teams. So you got like int teams, slasher teams, cerebral teams, and also Sengoku teams because he does have under 20 cost as well. So this guy is very good, and I definitely recommend you try maxing this guy out. He is amazing. Now, the hidden boss for this dungeon is Calgara, the Great Warrior of Shandia, and he is a 4-star unit, and he is a Strength Free Spirit Striker type unit, and he does exactly the same as Noland, have 2 socket spots, and he does have a cost of 20. Now, his captain effect will reduce cooldowns of all specials by 1 turn at the start of the fight, regardless of whatever type they are, which is really cool, and it also will boost the attack of Free Spirit characters by 2. So here we have just a regular 2 times attack lead for Free Spirit characters. So this is actually not a bad unit if you guys don't have guys like Sabo or the Intervankov. This guy's really good for Freedom teams if you guys don't have any of those units. And then his special, which starts at 19 turns and maxes at 14, will deal 13 times his attack in strength damage to all enemies, and then boost the attack of Free Spirit characters by 1.3 times. It would be a little bit nicer if his cooldown was a bit lower, or the amplifying of Free Spirit characters' attack was a little bit higher, maybe a 1.4. That'd be really good. But being at 14 turns for 1.3 times boost isn't really all that great. So overall, this unit's like kind of like an average unit, but Noland in comparison is so much better. But nonetheless, this guy's still going to be a great unit to use if you guys don't have many Free Spirit units to actually use. So he's actually really nice. And now let's go on to the actual breakdown of the dungeon itself. So before we get into the actual breakdown of the stages, let's go ahead and have a look at the condition, which does state that it does have a chance of bomb orbs appearing. So if you guys don't know what bomb orbs are, let's have a look at this first stage here, where it actually has a Noland. So on this picture you don't see Noland here, but Noland does appear, and he basically gives you a bomb orb and explains the mechanics of the actual bomb orb itself. So what it does is that if you hit a good or a great on a bomb orb, it will deal 10% of your maximum HP as damage. So that is really bad. So it's one of those negative orbs. It isn't really good to have, but the way to get rid of these orbs is that if you hit a miss or a perfect, the orb will actually just do no damage. Like if you hit a perfect, it will fling the bomb away, and if you hit a miss, it basically leaves the bomb and it doesn't actually activate. So those are the 2 ways to actually get rid of it, and you can also manipulate it around with orb manipulators and stuff like that. Like Heracles will just give your team orbs, or Garp special, he'll just like shuffle your orbs around. So if you use guys like that, you can actually get rid of the orb, unlike a bother orb, which actually cannot be like manipulated into another different orb. So bomb orbs can be manipulated, but yeah, you have to make sure you're going to hit a perfect or a miss to make sure you don't take that 10% health damage, otherwise it will end up killing you. So it is one thing to make sure that you're not getting hit by those bomb orbs. So following the first room, you come across on stage 2 a Noland mini-boss, where he actually does have a small amount of HP and does a preemptive attack, which just deals basic damage to you in 2,200 damage, and then every 2 turns he'll attack for 4,100 damage. So that is a lot of damage to be taking, so make sure to take him down pretty quickly, as well as the fodder pirates that surround him, because those guys will actually deal 1,500 damage to you every single turn. So this room can be a little bit annoying, and you probably will be taking a lot of damage from this room, so make sure that you can actually take down Noland as quick as possible, because 4,100 damage every 2 turns is a little bit hefty, and those fodder pirates, they are really weak, but make sure to take him down, because 1,500 every turn is nothing to scoff at either, so make sure you're taking down this room reasonably quickly. So now on stages 3 all the way to stage 6, basically just has some fodder pirates as well as some Shandian warriors, and there are also some different situations where you can get some strength and int turtles, penguins, and pigs as well. So this is a really good fortnight for trying to level up your int and strength units. Namely, you'd probably want to level up or start leveling up your Noland, because he is just such a good unit, so make sure you're leveling that guy up and trying to max out his special. And there's also just a whole bunch of int and strength units, and also in this dungeon, as I mentioned earlier, you can find Whitey Bay and Little Oars Junior books, so those units themselves can get leveled up from the pigs and the turtles that you can find within this dungeon as well. So here we have the final stage, stage 7, which is the first variation. There are actually 2 different variations for this final boss stage, and here we have the final boss, Noland. So for this first variation, where it's just him by himself, he has a health of 1 million and an attack power of 4,840, and he does a preemptive attack where he changes all of your orbs to either recovery, food orbs, or bomb orbs. So this is actually really annoying. You know, having more bomb orbs means you're going to have to hitting lots of perfects or trying to miss your attack. So make sure you're not getting hit by those bomb orbs. I can't stress that enough, because they do so much damage to you if you just keep missing. So definitely want to make sure that you're hitting those perfects. And then when his HP falls below 50%, he will remove all buffs slash debuffs, kind of like what the raid boss Eneru does, where he just gets rid of any buffs on the opposing side, which is really annoying. It means that if you're trying to burst him down and you just unfortunately miss that mark where you can't burst him all the way down, he actually will just get rid of all of the buffs on your team, which is a little bit annoying. And then once his HP falls below 20%, he actually just buffs his own attack by 2 times, meaning that he's going to be doing like 9,600 damage. It's going to be crazy amounts of damage, so make sure that you're trying to take him down as quick as possible, and make sure that you don't get him under 20%, otherwise he will start doing close to 10,000 damage each attack, which definitely do not want that to happen. Now, the second variation for this final boss room does have both Noland and Calgara. So this room is a little bit different, as the health is changed just a little bit. So we have the final boss in Noland has a health of 350,000 attack, of health, sorry, and then his attack is 4,840. He has a preemptive attack that changes all orbs to bomb on your side, which is very annoying, and that is partnered with Calgara, who does a preemptive attack that locks all of your orbs for 1 turn. So it means for 2 turns, you're going to be having full bomb orbs, so perhaps bringing someone that could change your orbs around, maybe you could do that if you wanted to bring Heracles for a specific team, which actually would make a lot of sense. If you guys run like a double Garp team, you guys could bring Heracles, and then Heracles can just change up your orbs, so you're not going to be getting those bomb orbs. That would be really good. And Calgara himself, he has 420,000 health with an attack power of 8,320. Now, when his HP falls below 20%, he'll deal a special that does 12,000 damage, and then he'll randomize your orbs as well. So again, you really don't want to, get him below 20%. With a lot of these bosses, when they fall under 20%, they do their final attack and they do as much damage as they possibly can. So 12,000 damage, definitely don't want to take that, and then randomizes your orbs as well. And remember, with this condition of this fortnight, when your orbs get randomized, you have a chance of getting bomb orbs as well. So that is really bad. So this is the final variation of stage 7, and probably the more difficult, I would say. It's much more easier having Noland by himself, and when Calgara does appear, it does make things a lot more difficult for this fortnight. So the hidden stage for this actual fortnight is also Calgara. So Calgara here, he has a health of 380,000 and an attack power of 8,320, and he basically doesn't do anything, but when his HP falls below 20%, he'll activate his special, which does 12,000 damage, similar to that variation of that final stage, and definitely don't want to take that as well. So you want to try and burst him down as quick as you possibly can, because he will attack you every turn for 8,320. Definitely do not want to take that, so make sure you take him down very, very quickly. Now let's have a look at the brand new skill books that will be arriving to us in this Fortnite dungeon. Number one being Whitey Bay, which is actually really, really nice. She has a really, really nice special, and will probably be used later on in Treasure Cruise. Not really used that much right now, but it's still a pretty decent special, and definitely try and max her out if you guys do have her. And then you have Little Oars Jr. Now this is an absolutely amazing special. The only thing is that with Oars, his cooldown for this special is still a little bit too high. Even at 18 turns, that is so high for the actual special that you're getting. You know, boosting the chance of getting Strength Orbs for 3 turns. You know, it's the exact same as Thatch, but for red. And his cooldown is so much higher than Thatch's. I don't really understand why Little Oars has such a huge cooldown for his special, but nonetheless can't do anything about it. You know, 18 turns will be his max. Then you have Capone, a really nice blue orb manipulator. You've got Stream Wolf Sword Zora, and an amazing strength damage reducer, just all in general. Like, he's really good for the Whitebeard Fortnite dungeon, not the Fortnite dungeon, the Zero Stamina dungeon. If you guys don't know or haven't done it yet, definitely, you know, try and max this guy out if you guys do have him, and don't evolve this guy. He actually does evolve into Lion Song Zora, so if you guys have the Streaming Wolf version, leave him as the Streaming Wolf's version, because his evolution has the exact same captain effect, but the pre-evolution has a much better special, so definitely leave the pre-evolution, as he will negate all strength damage for a single turn. Very, very good special. Moving on from that, you got Mr. One, really good strength booster, not a strength booster, a slasher booster, and then you've got the Giant Snake from Skypiea. You've also got Noland as well. The actual boss itself drops skill books in this dungeon, which makes maxing out his special a whole lot easier than, you know, having to just farm multiple copies of the same unit. And then you also have the skill book for the Southbirds from Jaya. You know, these guys aren't really all that good, but, you know, they're just kind of there as like a filler skill book. So overall, skill books are actually pretty decent for this Fortnite. I'm not going to lie. You know, you got Whitey Bay, Oars, Capone, you've got Streamwolf Sword, and Mr. One, and Nolan. Like, the only two bad ones here are really the Snake and the Southbirds. The rest of them are actually amazing. So, you know, getting, you know, like 6 of these skill books, really, really good. And definitely recommend farming this Fortnite. If you guys have any of these units, make sure to max these guys out. Alright, so now let's break down a couple of teams that I'm going to bring to you guys in order to beat this dungeon. Now, I know a lot of people, they always go mad when I don't put a Sengoku team in here. So here is a Sengoku team. You can really mix and match your units, because you'll definitely need Psy units, and you'll definitely need quick units for this dungeon, because coming across Noland, you need those Psy units, and then Calgara, you'll need those quick units to take him down really, really quickly. So bringing this team here would be actually pretty nice. And that last final unit with a question mark, that really can be filled in with any unit you really want. Like a high attack stat quick or a high attack Psy unit would be really good. I would probably recommend another quick unit to make sure you're taking down Calgara as easily as possible if you do encounter him. So this team actually works really, really well. You know, you've got Lucci there because he's the highest attack quick unit under 20 cost, I believe, that we have. So he's very, very good. You've got Impact Dial Usopp. That can be changed out for Golden Pound Usopp, and then you could potentially bring the Psy Eneru from Story Mode for a Psy boost if you guys want to do that too. But if you guys are lucky enough to have a maxed special Sengoku, then you really don't need to worry about bringing an Eneru at all, because, you know, his special pretty much does what Eneru does, but for all of your units anyway. So definitely, if you guys have a maxed friend or a max Sengoku yourself, then you don't really need to bring an Eneru. You could just bring any unit you really want. But this team works 100% fine and should have no troubles in beating this upcoming Fortnite dungeon. Now, because this actual Fortnite needs both quick and Psy units, you know, it's only fitting to bring either a 6-star Boa or a 6-star Marco team. Now, with this team, you can really bring a whole bunch of units. Similar to a Sengoku team, you can bring Impact Dial Usopp and Lucci. I would definitely recommend Lucci just because of how powerful he is. And then you could bring a guy like Jinbei, who can actually give himself a quick orb. So this will help you in getting rid of bomb orbs. So he gives himself a quick orb and does a bit of damage as well. So if you do get those bomb orbs, he's really good for getting rid of those. And then the last unit, really, I actually have no idea. It could be a whole bunch of units, as I keep saying. You know, if you really want to, you can swap out the Impact Dial Usopp for a Golden Pound Usopp, and then you could bring in the Sai Enderu if you really want. But yeah, definitely that Lucci is so good because his special, if you do wait for the cooldown long enough, it helps with also getting rid of those bomb orbs as well. Giving your team 3 quick orbs is very, very good, you know, just really, really strong. And especially if you encounter Noland by himself, he has a chance of giving you recovery orbs as well. So if you do get a couple of recovery orbs, the Lucci will change those recovery orbs into quick ones as well. So overall, Lucci is just amazing for this Fortnite dungeon. And yeah, Boa and Mako teams are very, very good in completing this dungeon in very, very fast times as well. So definitely recommend either of these units to bring. If you don't have a legend of this type, you could bring like a 5-star ace and then have a friend Boa or friend Boa or a friend Mako. That would work just fine. Or if you have like a Kami captain with a friend Boa or Mako, that could also work. There's a whole bunch of different teams that would work, but this just seems to be like the most standard team that I could really think of. But now let's move on to the fan favorite, which is the free-to-play slasher team. Now, a little bit different from previous free-to-play slasher teams is that you don't really want to bring a friend, a 6-star Mihawk. It actually is recommended to bring the Raid Mihawk because you really want to utilize both of their specials in reducing the HP of enemies by 30%. If you utilize both of those, as well as just having very, very powerful units, then making this dungeon really, really easy to clear is like, it's so much easier to clear by having 2 Raid Mihawks instead of a 6-star Mihawk and a Raid Mihawk. It just makes it so much quicker, makes that final room easy to beat. And you've got Golden Pound Usopp in there just because turn delay is very, very important, you know, especially if you're running a free-to-play slasher team. A lot of the free-to-play units don't have a whole lot of health, a whole lot of attack, rather, and having turn delay is very, very important to make sure that you're, you know, dealing enough damage without taking too much damage yourself. And if you need a little bit more turn delay, you've also got Halloween Zoro as well, who's got an ability which does a little bit of damage and also delays enemies for a single turn as well. So either one of these guys is great. You could also bring Mr. 3 as well. Mr. 3 is really great, but I'm just bringing these units here because they're quick and they're also Sai units as well. So they're going to be doing a little bit more damage than your Mr. 3 in this dungeon. So either of these units would work, but as I said, you know, it is a free-to-play team, so you can switch and swap any units you want. You know, if you're lucky enough to have Strongword Shanks, he's the best Sai slasher that we have. So you can replace Ryuma with Strongword Shanks if you guys have him. He's very, very powerful. But yeah, this is the 3 teams that I've come up with. There are a whole bunch of other teams that work, you know, Log Luffy. Actually, you know, Log Luffy I wouldn't really recommend because Bomb Orbs. So with Bomb Orbs, you need to hit the good, great, and perfect to get Log Luffy to activate. And if you've got Bomb Orbs, it makes hitting those good, great, and perfect a whole lot difficult. A whole lot more difficult, but it can still be beaten. It can still be beaten with a Log Luffy, that's the thing. You could also bring a Rayleigh team, you could bring a double Garp team, so there's a whole bunch of different teams that you could bring, but these are the 3 that I've just highlighted here today. But there are a whole bunch of teams. Just make sure, you know, you're using a bit of common sense, otherwise, you know, you will end up probably dying. So make sure you're using the right units, and make sure you're stalling correctly, and make sure to not hit a good or a great on those bomb orbs, because that will end up losing your entire run. So I hope you guys have enjoyed yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and if you guys have enjoyed it, make sure to smack that like button down below, and if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, then make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I will see you guys within the next video.